is still work out. One on money black out. Yo, yeah, before. Yo, yeah. That it work out. That on money work out. That is still work out. One on money black out. We not here for it. We got baby a dream. It's time for us to put hands together. Move our country forward. Let's stop the haste. Focus on our country. Preaching fake messages. And I go for us. Let us stop the money. Yeah. Weah in Liberia, overseas. You paint your country black. You feel style on social media. You are workout. No need no blame. On a money blackout. You gotta stop it. All the hate messages you preaching, you not doing it to the blackout. You doing it to the people, the poor people, the people you claim to love, the people you want to rule. That it work out, that on money work out, that it still work out. One on money blackout, yo yeah before, yo yeah. That it work out, that on money work out, that it still work out. One on money blackout, we not here for it. We got baby a dream. Work out, making us hating one another, encouraging others to spoil our country needs. So we should go and demonstrate. You will be there. Demonstrate the air. Let me ask you, work out. When we spoil our country, who will help us fix it? It's saying I know, work out, saying I know. When you bring out a handler, who will help us settle it? It's saying I know, work out, saying I know. Taking shock out of gain power. We not yet for that kind of flower. Work out, get black out, a chance. Oh.
We are one. We are one.
Get president, we are the chance. Oh.
We are one. We are one.
Can't you see? He's very rose.
We are one. We are one.
He's building hospital for all of us.
We are one. We are one.
Take a look at the estates he's building.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we get you Mediterranean hospital.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we just see new market.
We are one. We are one.
Build new head office for the free poor of Morovia.
We are one. We are one.
Send our doctors and students abroad for the fund study.
We are one. We are one.
Provide scholarship for LU and pay one fee.
We are one. We are one.
So what do you must do in 2 years to please you work out? And I get out to see. You say we should go and demonstrate. You will be there. Demonstrate the air. Let me ask you work out. When we spoil our country, who will help us face it? It's saying I know, work out, saying I know. When you bring out a handler, who will help us settle it? It's saying I know, work out, saying I know. Taking shock out of gain power. We not here for that kind of flower. Work out, get black out, a chance. Oh. That it work out. That on money work out. That it still work out. One on money black out. It's your bonaro. That it work out. That on money work out. That it still work out. One on money black out. Yo yeah before. Yo yeah. That it work out. That on money work out. That it still work out. One on money black out. We not here for it. We got baby a dream. It's time for us to put hands together. Move our country forward. Let's stop the haste. Focus on our country. Preaching fake messages. And I go for us. Let us stop the money. Yeah. Weah in Liberia, overseas. You paint your country black. You feel style on social media. You are workout. No need no blame. On blackout. You gotta stop it, oh. All the hate messages you preaching, you're not doing it to the blackout. You're doing it to the people, the poor people. The people you claim to love, the people you want to rule. That it work out, that honor money work out, that it still work out. One honor money blackout, yo yeah before, yo yeah. That it work out, that honor money work out, that it still work out. One honor money blackout, we not here for it. We got paid their trade. Work out, making us hating one another, encouraging us to spoil our country needs. We should go and demonstrate. You will be there. Demonstrate, yeah. Let me ask you, work out. When we spoil our country, who will help us fix it? It's say no, work out, say no. When you bring out a hand, who will help us settle it? It's say no, work out, say no. Taking shock out of getting power. We not yet for that kind of flower. Work out, get black out, a chance.
We are one. We are one.
Get president, we are the chance.
We are one. We are one.
Can't you see? He's Betty Rose.
We are one. We are one.
He's building hospital for all of us.
We are one. We are one.
Take a look at the estates he's building.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we get you military hospital.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we just see new market.
We are one. We are one.
Build new head office for the free poor of Morovia.
We are one. We are one.
Send our doctors and students abroad for the fun study.
We are one. We are one.
Provide scholarship for LU and pay one fees.
We are one. We are one.
So what do you must do in 2 years to please you work out? Not get out to see. You say we should go and demonstrate. You will be there. Demonstrate, yeah. Let me ask you work out. When we spoil our country, who will help us fix it? It's say no, work out, say no. When you bring out a hand, who will help us settle it? It's say no, work out, say so.
We are one. We are one.
Can't you see? He's Betty Rose.
We are one. We are one.
He's building hospital for all of us.
We are one. We are one.
Take a look at the estates he's building.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we get you military hospital.
We are one. We are one.
Say nothing, we just see new market.
Needs and wants. The rest is expensive, and you know that you have a shortfall in the budget, then reduce the rest so those who are that not even working but making ends meet can buy. So when the shortfall, we cannot again support scarcity. You understand? So what needs to be for needs and wants? The rest is expensive, and you know that you have a shortfall in the budget, then reduce the rest so those who are that not even working but making ends meet can buy. So when the shortfall, we cannot again support scarcity. You understand? So what needs to be for needs and wants? The rest is expensive, and you know that you have a shortfall in the budget, then reduce the rest so those who are that not even working but making ends meet can buy. So when the shortfall, we cannot again support scarcity. You understand? So what needs to be for needs and wants? The rest is expensive.
During the past 12 years, our party, the Congress for Democratic Change, accepted the disputed results of two previous presidential elections in 2005 and in 2011 in the interest of peace. Nevertheless, throughout those two terms, we continue to engage the government of the day in a constructive manner, even accepting to serve as peace ambassador when called upon to assist them to maintain the peace under their regime. We must all learn to respect the mandates of our electorate, even when that mandate is not in our favor, and not be selective in our support for democracy only when we win. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Liberian civil conflict came to an end when all parties and warring factions signed a comprehensive peace agreement in Accra, Ghana in August 2003. The accord called for the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC, to provide a forum that will address issues of impunity, as well as an opportunity for both the victims and perpetrators of human rights violations to share their experiences in order to facilitate genuine healing and reconciliation. The TRC was duly established, concluded its hearing, and produced a final report in 2009. Among other things, the report called for the establishment of an extraordinary criminal tribunal to prosecute those identified as having committed gross violations of human rights and economic crimes between 1979 and 2003. It is important to note that the TRC report also recommended the use of conflict resolution mechanism that has been traditionally used in Liberia, called the Palava Hut, where in various district meetings conducted by community elders, perpetrators could publicly request forgiveness from the victims, and where the aims of restorative justice could be served. When I spoke before you last September, after my first 9 months in office, I indicated a preference for dialogue as a conflict resolution mechanism, so that as a government
Can we elaborate on that one?
Yes.
Sir, would you be changing your policy or reviewing your policy with the United States government?
We'll still continue on the old policy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Praise for the coup came from Libya, Ethiopia, Cuba, and other Eastern Bloc countries. U.S. condemnation of the killings was swift. Yet 6 weeks after the coup, a previously scheduled American delegation arrived to offer support.
To have the opportunity to come and visit with you and the other officials of your government to discuss the needs of your peoples and to also discuss future relations between our two nations.
Samuel Doe represented a rebellion of the country people, the original inhabitants. The population of Liberia, the majority being country people, sort of liked that. It showed that the Americo-Liberians were no longer dominant, and there was a popular change. So the United States had no reason to change that, or try to go against that, and we accepted Samuel Doe like the people of Liberia did.
They had no idea of the workings of the international political system. They had no concrete, more rational understanding of the social dynamics on the ground. So within a year or two, that government, the People's Redemption Council, became more corrupt, and all the governments that preceded it.
But for the Americans, particularly Ronald Reagan, the new Cold War warrior in the White House, Doe was a useful ally.
It's been a pleasure to welcome Liberian Head of State Samuel K. Doe on his first visit to the United States. It's especially fitting that we should be meeting this year as the United States and Liberia celebrate 120 years of diplomatic relations. Our discussions gave us an opportunity to reaffirm the special friendship and mutual respect between our two countries. Clearly, a firm bond unites Liberians and Americans who have come together professionally and socially throughout the years.
The U.S. strategy for Liberia was spelled out in the then classified White House document. Liberia was important to protect valuable U.S. facilities and military access rights, to protect U.S. private investment, to prevent the spread of Libyan, Soviet, and other hostile influences. And, because of the unusual historic relationship, to avoid a major defeat or embarrassment for the United States through Liberia's political or economic disintegration. This was Doe's proudest moment. He did everything Washington wanted, including criticizing other African states for not being sufficiently anti-communist. He also challenged some African leaders to fistfights for insulting Ronald Reagan.
Doe also at the time was said to have learned how to speak English better by watching the great communicator communicate on videotape. And he had a satellite dish set up so that he could watch all of Reagan's speeches.
In the first 4 years of Doe's regime, he received almost $500 million from the United States, more than any previous Liberian administration.
Doe managed somehow to convince that there was an East-West rivalry there, and that American money would be helpful in keeping out the Soviet threat, which seems ridiculous, and was. But Doe did expel, I think, all of the Soviet diplomats at the time. It was crude, but it seemed to be helpful.
We had the dilemma, do we support this gentleman or do we not? And initially the Cold War tilted us in favor of supporting because we got reciprocal treatment. We were supporting certain governments that were clearly not going to use their assistance for development, but use it for other reasons. And we supported people like Mobutu in Zaire and a few others.
In spite of American aid, life in Liberia grew worse. Streets were filthy, development stopped, poverty increased, healthcare and education collapsed. Doe considered the national treasury his own.
Doe and his people had about a third of the $220 million economy. They had those people. They could basically take a third of it for whatever purpose they wanted, for buying cars, for buying clothes, whatever.
Doe's corruption was becoming an embarrassment to the U.S. The White House pressured Doe to return Liberia to civilian rule. Finally, in 1985, elections were held, with the largest turnout in Liberian history. Doe manipulated the election and declared himself the winner.
It was very clear that it was stolen. I mean, I went to a barracks where people were voting often, marking ballots and stuffing them in boxes. And I went out to a polling place 20, 30 miles out of Monrovia where people came in to vote and soldiers were there to intimidate them as they were marking their ballots, and so they would end up voting for Doe.
I saw him this way. I, Samuel K. Doe, told me this way that I will support, uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution, and bylaws, of the Republic of Liberia, bear
He should have lost, but he rigged the election. But at that time, all West African elections were rigged. It was a very normal thing to do for the government to win the election, even though they may have had less than a majority of the votes. So we did not trouble us at all.
Now here comes the head of state, riding a beautiful Mercedes-Benz, a 1000 SVL.
Dou's inauguration was not celebrated in all quarters.
I remember describing it in a radio interview at the time as similar, at least from what I could pick up, to the sadness that people felt in the United States when John Kennedy was shot.
We thought that Joe was going to lead us, but Joe betrayed us. He's a criminal. We don't want to kill Joe. We want to bring Joe before justice.
Thomas Quayampa from the Gio tribe of Nimba County in the northeast was one of the 17-man junta that had brought Doe to power. Quayampa fled the country after he and Doe fell out. Now, 1 month after the elections, he entered Monrovia with rebel soldiers to challenge Doe. He declared he had the blessings of both the U.S. and the Liberian people. But in fact, U.S. embassy officials had tipped Doe off about the possibility of this coup. Quayampa's troops quickly rounded up Doe's officials. They took over the national radio and television station, and for 6 hours Liberians believed that Doe had been overthrown. But then, forces loyal to Doe arrived on the scene to smother the revolt. The victorious Quayampa soon turned victim.
Hey, we are here. So we got here just in time. I mean, it's a prize. We've got it. It's a miracle.
George Bully, Doe's closest advisor, celebrated victory.
And I think it's the best thing that's ever happened.
Quayampa's body was taken to the executive mansion to be viewed by Doe.
Fellow Liberians, I take this opportunity to inform the nation that the coup has failed. I am still the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia and head of state.
It was a victory, but Doe had other troubles. He was losing the support of his main ally, the United States.
We were starting to get quite tough with him. And the fact that the Cold War was ending, I think, was no coincidence. We had less need for his cooperation. I remember I went to see him with Secretary of State Schultz in January of 1987, and he was very upset, Doe saying, I'm your best friend, I kicked out the Libyan embassy that was here, and I support you all over in the UN, even in the non-aligned movement. I'm always one of 3 or 4 African countries that's on your side, and all the rest are against you. And what are you doing? You're cutting off our military assistance, and you're lowering our economic assistance. It's all one-sided now. I'm your friend, but you're not my friend anymore. So he understood that things were changing.
Schultz's warning was more diplomatic.
Fiscal austerity in the short run is essential to long-term prosperity. We're getting a little fiscal austerity at home, and it hurts. The situation calls for statesmanlike decisions. The result is not usually immediate, but there is no more important task.
He actually became hysterical with Secretary Schultz at the time. Even though later everything was friendly, there was a nice dinner.
And Schultz said, well, we'll send you some help. So they sent over 17 bean counters, basically, from the State Department. And they were just despairing. When I saw them, they were basically packing up their stuff and going home and saying this is a hopeless endeavor. And they left.
With or without U.S. support, Doe was bent on staying in power. Since Quayampa's insurrection, Doe had brutally suppressed any dissent in Nimba County. Time and again, he would send soldiers of his tribe, the Kras, on a campaign of terror against Manos and Gios, a tribal war.
And those who is considered to be innocent in Nimba at this particular time, I'm appealing to them to leave Nimba immediately, or else their relatives, their children would never be seen again.
When I first came to Liberia in 1986, when I first started this job, one of the things that impressed me was that it was one of the least tribal countries in the region. A lot of intermarriage, and people weren't at all hung up about their tribe. They could be quite proud of it. They could say, this cook shop has real Vai cooking here, whatever. And I saw that gradually evaporate, and I think that was the most damaging, the most corrosive effect of President Doe's government. For people up in Nimba County, nothing has ever been worse than what was happening to them. The army was sent into Nimba, and they would go around all the houses, they would drag out young men, they would beat them, some of them they would kill them. The army created enormous ill feeling, and that drove the boys over the border to become rebels, and they were just there waiting to be organized by Charles Taylor.
Our leader, you right, if I run, you can run.
Charles Taylor, an old crony of Samuel Doe, crossed the Liberian border on Christmas Eve 1989. A mixed Gola and Americo-Liberian, Taylor graduated from an American college and broke out of a Massachusetts jail, where he had been held after Doe accused him of embezzlement. Now he was back, with Libyan-trained guerrillas, and rumored to have the backing of affluent Liberians who wanted to get rid of Doe.
This war is about justice, it's about equality, and about fair play. This war is about the right to self-determination and the safeguard of the sovereignty of this nation.
Despite his rhetoric, his war turned into a war of retribution. Thousands of Manos and Guios joined Taylor, seeking vengeance against Doe's Kras and their allies, the Mandingos. Atrocities were routine. Entire villages were abandoned by people trying to escape the fighting. Families were burnt alive, children raped and decapitated. It was ethnic cleansing at its most cruel. And much of it was carried out by soldiers who were themselves children.
People has put us together, gave us arms to fight our brothers and sisters to get rich out of us. And those little ones that are holding the guns, they are not intelligent, they cannot think. The little boy, even if you are in a home, just watch a little boy, how he can behave in the home. And imagine you take gun, you give it to him.
Boys got high on power as well as drugs. I spoke to one in a refugee camp in Ghana.
I'm Marshall G. Colley. I was 15 years old when I joined the MPFL in 1991. There was a certain leaf in the bush, we call it wolf face. You take the leaf, you squeeze it in your hand and put it in your eye, and you'll see that your eyes will be red, like for some 1 week. Yeah, so we used to call it leaf wolf face. You just want to make yourself like a kind of a boo-boo man that people will be afraid of. Like when you take out your eye on somebody, I mean, they will be afraid. You will never be afraid when you're taking the drugs. Actually, you will be over brave, and all the things you will be doing, I mean, you will just be going, you will be doing it unconsciously, but you will be very brave. There's nothing that will move you. You just smile, laugh all day. As soon as they shoot here, you will like to go there.
During these months of terror, Liberians were still so emotionally tied to the U.S. that they believed America would save them from themselves. When U.S. Navy helicopters landed in Monrovia, it was thought that they had come to rescue Liberians. Instead, they were there to evacuate American citizens.
Due to the potential threat to lives, all Americans are strongly advised to depart Liberia immediately. In order to assist Americans, we have arranged special commercial flights to transport American citizens and their immediate families from Liberia to the neighboring country of Côte d'Ivoire.
I'm scared to death, and I'm worried for my country, and I'm scared for everybody.
What do you think the United States should do?
Step in and take over.
That's right.
We were just given a direct order from the White House not to do anything. But I remember meetings where Scowcroft's deputy, Robert Gates, who had come from the CIA, he was denigrating the historical relationship. He says it's meaningless, it doesn't govern us anymore, we treat Liberia just like any other country, and we have no real interest there.
Doe also wanted the U.S. to step in to keep himself in power.
Being a lover of democracy, America would have stepped in to put stop to the bloodshed. But then I don't know what they are thinking of. But we are still hoping that America will join us in searching for peace for this country.
By mid-1990, Taylor's troops had captured most of the country and were advancing rapidly on Monrovia. Doe's situation was growing desperate.
We had an aircraft available in Freetown ready to pick him up. We told him that, but actually I was supposed to go there and say, okay, now's the time, get your family and everyone and get in the plane, let's go. But I never got to that point. It was vetoed.
We are not going to let any criminal be taken out of this country by anyone. No one is taking Doe out. He will be caught by us or killed by us.
I think we could have done some things differently at the end, but the Bush administration pulled us back and told us that they didn't want us to do that because they didn't want to accept any degree of moral responsibility for Charles Taylor becoming the next head of state of Liberia. I think that was a mistake.
I felt that the White House had an error of judgment at that point. Whatever would have happened with Taylor after that, at least the country would have been spared the devastation of its infrastructure and all of its facilities there.
Liberians sought help everywhere. Finally, it was the 16-nation economic community of West African states that created ECOMOG, a special military peacekeeping force.
Je me suis impliqué, disons, dans le processus de paix au Libéria en ma qualité de président de la CEDEAO. Mais comme je l'ai dit plus tôt, c'est vrai que aucun Africain, aucun homme, je pense, de cœur, ne peut accepter de voir des souffrances aussi insupportables que celles endurées par le peuple libérien.
The presence of peacekeepers gave Monrovia a fragile sense of security. But Taylor was still threatening to launch a final assault if Doe didn't resign.
I remain here to fight the support of Charles Taylor. I remain here to say no to America. America is fighting Doe because Doe one is going to be developed, period.
The African peacekeepers set up headquarters in this building at Monrovia's port. Here, on September 9th, 1990, Doe arrived to meet the force commander. He had no idea that Prince Johnson, the leader of yet another faction, was gunning for him.
No, don't do this to me. Look, I jumped to the American ambassador. I'm here to make a decision now.
We could hear voices outside. There was an argument starting between those people who were outside and Prince Johnson's people. And the voices got more and more angry.
Now, from that point, the shooting started. And Elizabeth Blunt and Mr. Ivan Face were under a table, and fortunately for me, I was in that particular room they were in.
I lay on the floor along the wall, window wall. And then I could just hear the sounds of this tremendous gun battle, and it went on and on and on. Every time you thought the shooting had stopped, it started again.
When they started shooting from downstairs, Doe came in here and was surrounded by his bodyguards. And they refused, even the shooting, all the bodyguards fell right in the middle of this room. All of them fell on top of Doe.
I had no idea what was going on, and this went on for about an hour and a half. It was the early afternoon. And then eventually it died away, and we waited, and then it seemed to be safe to come out. I came out into the corridor, and there was a sort of washroom opposite. There were bodies in the corridor and sort of piled into the washroom. And there were bodies in the front hall of the building at the foot of the stairs where we'd been standing to watch the president go up. And then I was being really stupid at this point. It took me a few minutes to say, but what's happened to the president? And they said they carried him.
Samuel Doe! Samuel Doe! You see thousands, thousands! I
Doe was driven through the streets of Monrovia. The next day, he was pleading for his life. While Prince Johnson was seeking the backing of the U.S.
Come in. I want to see Mr. Porter or the U.S. ambassador over.
It's certainly true the Americans were in touch, not just with Prince Johnson, but with all the parties. And what was said and what was encouraged, I don't know.
Where we remember Zion.
Doe was castrated and his ears cut off by Johnson's men. He would die a day later, but even after his death, he had his supporters who tore through the streets shouting, "No Doe, no Liberia."
Mama Africa, take a look around you. We are your children.
The war didn't end with Doe's death. For the next 7 years, it touched all of our lives. I look at these graves and I think, what happened to this place? Someone's father, someone's daughter, someone's brother. Over 150,000 Liberians died, 4 of my family among them. 2/3 of the country fled their homes. 6,000 children were made to kill. The towns and villages I knew as a child had all become killing fields. More and more factions cropped up, and some Ecomog soldiers joined in the plunder. There was no respite.
We need your peace, we need your love. Stop the fighting, stop the war.
Liberians were exhausted and desperate for peace. Numerous peace agreements were brokered and violated, but peace only came when there was nothing left to destroy.
We need your love, we need your peace.
Finally, after 7 years of mayhem, elections were called for July 19th, 1997. There were 13 candidates. The campaign trail for Charles Taylor, who already controlled much of the country, led ironically to the Samuel Doe Soccer Stadium. People sang, "He killed my ma, I will vote for him. He killed my pa, I will vote for him," hoping that a vote for Taylor would mean an end to the bloodshed. Liberians lined up to vote in overwhelming numbers. It was their first presidential election in a decade. When the ballots were counted and certified as fair by international observers, including Jimmy Carter, Taylor had won with 75% of the vote.
And I promise you today that I will not be a wicked president. But I say to you also that I have no intentions of being a weak president during this particular period.
When Taylor assumed the presidency, people hoped that he would turn the country around. So far, not much has happened. Instead, in no time, Taylor has become an international pariah, implicated in the destabilization of his neighbors, and accused of fueling diamond wars and growing rich. Just another strong man. When Monrovia spruced itself up to commemorate 150 years of Liberian independence, it was the monument dedicated to unity between the natives and the settlers that got special attention. And it was here that a wedding party stopped to take a...
Can we elaborate on that one?
Yes.
Sir, would you be...
My friend and brother, how you doing?
It's a good history, man. I'm doing all right, and I'm grateful that I'm doing okay, and my health is strong. Do this and go to work tomorrow morning. So I'm doing great, AB. What about you?
I'm doing quite okay. It's just a good history of our country. Liberians are quick to forget. Very soon they have forgotten where we came from. They are forgetting it. So we are here tonight to remind them about the way and startlet way of handling our people that it will meet up with you. Back to you.
Yes, I promised our audience the last time that I'm going to continue with the commercial at the beginning of our show, after the intro, and at the end of the show before closing. So let me do that quickly, my friend. First and foremost, we are grateful to our maker. We want to say thank you very much for joining us, and those that will be joining us later. Again, beside this, we are a business analyst as well, not just political analyst. So have a business here called Kangomas Multi-Service Consulting LLC, KMC for short. We are specialized in the areas of affordable and quality family-based immigration services, such as filing for wife, husband, children, parents, and fiancé visa application process. We also assist with people that win DV in terms of affidavit and DS-260 application process online on the website of the Department of State. We are also licensed to do life insurance and do auto insurance referral. And we also help with not contested divorce for our sisters and our brothers that come here for some reason it doesn't work out, and other social services. Our information is also on the page of our Liberia Today Media. The telephone numbers are 267-648-8012, 701-620-7009. Call us anytime, but not this time now. I'm on the show and I'm going to answer you, but you can send me the text if you have interest in any of those areas I just talked about. Now we go to advocacy. You know, AB, Liberia is interesting. But you see, when we come here, we talk the way we talk, and sometimes the comments can be devastating. But you know why? It's interesting. And for this platform, I can say for free, we are not coming here every night or every evening, every morning, depending where you are, to say something that make you feel good. No, we are not interested in that. And this platform will not go by. Oh no, we can't say that on here. No, no, no. This is not family platform. This is our advocacy's political platform to remind you of yesterday, to recondition your thinking, to make you, put you in a position that you will be able to think critically as it relates to our country. So, America, that is the way it is today. It didn't start one day, it didn't start 2 days, it didn't start 3 days. Even today, it's still ongoing. Joe Biden government and Congress just passed infrastructural bill about 1.8 trillion, okay? So the development of Gaia is archaic. They have to modernize it. So when we come here and say these political, come up with these political topics, citing our history is to bring you, is to take you back to yesterday and compare it with what is going on today. Every single thing that happened in our country from 1822 to today, they have all been stimulated, influenced, orchestrated against the people by the government that they selected or they elected. It is not the people. We are simply telling you it is not us. And this one go to the government of Liberia again, especially those that are in power. Seditions, you need to look, you need to double check. I hope you watch this clip carefully as it was being played. I hope you watch it clearly and you listen to those actors that the journalists were talking about. You listen to Samuel Doe, you listen to Charles Taylor, you listen to Prince Johnson, and you listen to the people. I see people on Facebook today, Nathaniel McGee Facebook page, posted something in his chest, congressional delegation from America, this and that. No, let me tell you something. America, that baby my rat. America, that baby my rat. Baby my rat can be eating you in the night, blood coming up. They put the breeze there. When you want to wake up, then they back off. By the time you fall asleep again, then they come back. Don't even take it. Don't even look. Everything American delegation are going to Liberia, that everything is jolly, is bread and butter. You do not understand the behind the scene of diplomacy. This is the same Congress. This is the same Congress that told you you need to double up. Corruption is massive. They didn't stop that. They came up with a unanimous resolution before the Bicentennial. This is the same Congress. So they have gone over there not only to go see the country that invited them or the country that they sent their forefather to. They are also gone there to see firsthand how the country looks like, if you don't understand it. I'm not saying this because I found myself sitting out here eating cheeseburger. No. I know what I'm talking about. I got a foreign service experience for 8 years. In America, your experience matter. Even if you work a job for 6 months, you got some experience there. You got some ideas about about that job. Okay? I will not be person there, but I learned something. Liberia and America, even to the point where there was a war, American Ambassador John Blaney was still talking with Charles Taylor, was still going to the executive mansion. You need to understand that. Even when lawyers were coming, hitting free people, going by, American Ambassador were going to the war zone, talking with the rebels and talking with the government people. So you see congressional delegation going to our country, it's a good news. It's a very good news. When you see American Ambassador going everywhere George Weah going, they want to see what they got to see, besides what their informers are telling them. And another thing I want you to remember, Samuel Doe regime, the junta group at the time, they slaughtered over 13 to 26 people in the open, on camera. One of the ministers they're chasing, he went to French embassy. I was a small boy, but at least I was able to read And I listen to these things. Went to French embassy, they went and grabbed that man from what I think was Frank Tabo. I think so. And grabbed that man from there and slaughtered him cold blood. What the journalists told us, the clip that we just listened to. The very corruption that group of people went against, I mean the government, not the people, not the ordinary people. The government of Samuel Kanyando went against corruption and they slaughtered people in the open. When they got there, according to this clip we just listened to, everything increased. It tripled. The Liberian people became more poor than ever before. Social, political, economic corruption increased. Disease increased. No, nothing. No, nothing. So the historical perspective and the insights and analysis we want to share with you tonight is that behavior, that unacceptable political behavior during Samuel Kanyando time coming to Judge Weah today. We're not comparing Samuel Kanyando with Charles Taylor. Another night, we discussed that. Charles Taylor gone, he in jail serving his time there for getting involved with Sierra Leone's crisis, masterminding it, aiding and abetting. That's what the charge Charles Taylor on, because UN was involved. We're not discussing that one today. Maybe we catch that another night. Okay? We are discussing Samuel Kanyando regime and Judge Weah, what is going on now. In as much as Samuel Kanyando did not have too much international exposure, but he came from a military background and was willing to learn. So he was faster. Another thing I want you to take cue from. You heard what Samuel Doe said after they killed Kyompa. You heard it. I'm just repeating it for you as a political analyst. Samuel Kanyando, as a president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia, said on national radio, if you consider yourself innocent in Bali, you are innocent person at this time, leave Nimba County. If you stay there, you will not live and your children will not live to stock up to see another time of their lives. And we know what happened. We know it. When Samuel Kanyando and he killed in death squad went to Nimba County, Prince Joseph can better tell you that story. You saw what happened. When we elect our government, we surrender our political rights to them. And they use the very political fundamental rights that we have and surrender it to them to stay the affairs of the state. And that government turn against us, we could bounce by too. When we can't take it no more. Anybody may you veil that we inciting people, it's on you. We're not inciting nobody. We didn't do this. It is the government that did it. Samuel Kanyando said, unquote, when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. And it is true. Samuel Doe, Charles Taylor, and Prince Johnson, they fought. So the grass continued to suffer. And that grass today is the Liberian people and the country we call Liberia. And that's what brought Judge Weah. And Judge Weah have not taken any cue from that. And that is the reasons why we intentionally carve this topic tonight that way. So that you, the people, those of you that don't say the truth, you can look at why he said that black, you look at black, he said that white, so you can take cue from their political history. This too is part of us. And it is not just unique to us. But what frustrating us most, we Liberians, especially those of us that are here, that don't need to be here for real, is the very thing the other government, the other president went against, they get to power, they do even more than that. Now let's go to Judge Weah. Lofa County people, I don't really care whether you tell me I come for Lofa, I come for, I don't care about that. It is history, and we tell the story. We push it on you by force. You don't like it, don't listen to her. Okay? When Samuel Kanyando single Nimba County as an enemy of the state, or Nimbarians as an enemy of the state, the people got motivated because the enemy should become consistent. Consistent persistent and became to be homicide situation. What did Liberian do? They were waiting for somebody to organize them, to say, you know what, enough is enough. Because why? Nobody came on the planet because they were cursed. Nimba people at the time, and even today, they are part of Liberia. For a government, a sitting president, to say, if you consider yourself innocent in Bali, you should leave Nimba Kande, to go where? To go where? You people have forgotten. You tell your just we are brother. You tell hey people, we got some local people in that government. I don't really care about that. You need to invite just we are letting him watch the YouTube video. We're not telling them that what we're going to do, but you know what? Even the door that you eat and get a bone to the door and give the door the leftover. When you push that door too much, that door going to bounce back. And when that door bounce back, that door going to bite you. I'm speaking the colloquia tonight so that you can get it. You can get it by force. Lofa people not forced to vote for CDC. Lofa County people not forced to vote for CDC. Nimba County people, they're not forced to vote for CDC or to support CDC. If you impose your way on us, you go ask Samia Kayando whether he got grief. You go ask him. If you will find. George Weah and his executive branch of government using the executive influence to make decisions behind the scene. They have prosecuted Samuka illegally for taking directive from his former boss to spend the soldiers' money on the soldiers. They say misapplication, right? Yes, it's not even misapplication. It was for pension for the soldier. The money was used on the very soldier to get deployed so they can get good pay from the United Nations. Peacekeeping mission in Mali. Where that money coming? It coming right in Liberia there. They are being prosecuted. The executive influence the Senate to declare the seat vacant instead of them declaring it vacant. If some of you listen to Communist Whistle and Steve Zago, they are all sitting senators of the current Senate. I will read Article 37 for you for the benefit of this conversation. This is the article Communist Whistle quoted. Steve Zago didn't quote it. And let me show it to you again. This is 1986 Constitution. You see something can do there, right? You see that? They're right there. So I'm going to quote 37. Article 37. In the event of a vacancy in the legislature caused by death, resignation, expulsion, or otherwise, the presiding officer shall within 30 days notify the election commission thereof. The election commission shall not later than 90 days thereafter cause a by-election to be held, provided that where such vacancy occurs within 90 days prior to the holding of general elections, the failings of the vacancy shall await the holding of such general elections. We should not go too far from that, okay? So you're here, then I may say, I just read it to you. It's in the book. This issue of somebody not taking seat after election does not lie within the purview of the Liberian Senate, according to the Constitution under Article 37. If you want to maneuver it, it's up to you. But just remember, Samuel Kanya didn't get grief for hating one group of people because they came from Nimba County, and they just somebody named them Gio people and Mano people, so the government did not want to see them alive. So Lofa County people voted for Joseph Boakai, George Weah, and his government doing everything humanly possible, politically possible, to mess with the people of Lofa. You guys should not underestimate us. This is not Harry Marba generation. This is a different generation. And this is not even Joseph Boakai generation. Let me just let you know. This is a different generation you're dealing with now. It's no threat. It's a hard truth. The Constitution says death or resignation. Didn't say when they elect you in your country and you take seat because of political maneuvering, political Supreme Court, political Circuit Court, political Moravia Court, then the Senate must declare as a vacant. Why the Supreme Court not declare a vacant? Why the Supreme Court not declare a vacant? Why the Justice Minister not declare a vacant? Because they want to serve a prosecutor for the government. Why the Supreme Court not declare a vacant? You know why? They want to legitimize something that is illegal. Abachi said in there. Speaker Buffer Shima said in there. Judge Weah called and you all cleared out in there. 3 people convicted of a crime. The president that gave that order, the former president, she right around the corner. You can't hold her responsible. You can't prosecute her. But you prosecute the person that she gave the order to, and there are 3. You ain't talking about the other 2. You're only talking about the 1 person because he comes from Lofa County. You all remember history. Thomas Hobbes said it. Any group of people, organization, or country that refuses consistently to evaluate their history, their past, that country is not going into a good direction. You see what happening today? You see the economic abuse that is going on in Liberia? Anyway, you go. The life Liberian people were living 4 or 5 years back, it's not the same life they're living now. You're listening to the clip. When Samuel Doe took over, everything just went down. Majority of the stuff went down. Anything you think about hardship, everything just increased. Y'all heard it. I just repeating what the video we just watched. That history, we just all witnessed just now, it is creeping over Liberia again. It is creeping. American congressional delegation goes to Liberia. Everybody putting red, white, and blue around their neck. That jolly time. And it doesn't even move it. The very people that gone to Liberia, you remember the resolution they signed defeated? You remember what Joe Biden, representative to that bicentennial, said? You're listening to it or you don't understand it? Mr. McGee, you don't understand it, right? Okay. McIntosh is in your can. You give it to him. He will understand it. Dr. McIntosh, you give it to him. He will understand it. He will advise you better. Ome Joe Wallace say around it. Not Joe Wallace, but Josh Wallace. Say around the corner. You're asking. He will tell how diplomacy works. So my people, tonight is political history. And though some people don't like the past, but in order for us to make ourselves straighten and to do a little bit better during this present, that will assure us that the future will be bright, we need to examine ourselves. And that ourselves is our political history. We need to look at it. We need to go back to check it out. What happened yesterday that got us to be where we are? Liberian people say, you came my mind, you came my back, I will vote for you. Chancellor got 75% of the vote, 1997, out of 13 candidates. What Chancellor do after taking power? He too went against one group of people, if not 2. He went against the Crown people, he went against the Mandingo people. We saw where we went, right? Nobody knew somebody could come against Chancellor and get him. And just for the record, y'all go on American CIA website. There was 32 coup attempts on Samia Kanyando's life. 32 coup attempts. Who were involved? Go check it out. So when we come on this show, we already know exactly what we're coming to say, and we got prima facie evidence to share with you. We share authentic information with you. Go fact check it. When you call us, you put it forward. We're not against Joshua, but we're against the behavior of the government. We always want to go against one group of people because they didn't vote for us, because we look at them from the different lenses of our glasses. And that is wrong. It is wrong. Today, yesterday, and even tomorrow is going to be wrong. It's not because we surrender our political right to an elite group of people and that she use it against us. What is the government primary responsibility? It's supposed to guarantee our security and our protection. If you can't use that, you use our resources to devour us. The movement of Bacitanians is supposed to be national unity, diversity in unity, but it is selective. It is CDC celebration. CDC George Weah celebration. And that's why they do it the way they do it. They're not looking at short-term benefit. They're not looking at long-term benefit or immediate benefit. All they are looking at is we did it. They don't care what the people get out of that. How many foreign investment have we getting since Ellen left power? How many of them? You show me some. How the people life have become better under the proper agenda. Just compare it with yesterday, 4 years ago. How can somebody play football for their whole lifetime, over 19, 20 years? They become president under their watch. National team can't even play in the country because the sport pitch is not good enough. When we say, oh, they don't like George Weah. No, it's not about liking. He's our president. He need to double it up. Just what American people told him. If he don't, 2023 is not far, but we don't know whether he will reach. We don't know whether he will reach. If you think American delegation is in Liberia and everything is bread and butter, so it be. They told you sanction were coming. You didn't know whether you're going to catch up with Prince Johnson and the rest of the guy. If you think the sanction is lifted now and not coming no more, the sanction is opposition sanction. It is not opposition sanction. Opposition ain't got no power, no authority to sanction the government, only the United States and other foreign powers. If you think it's done because the congressional delegation in Liberia, Joe Biden, special assistant, went there and told you the same thing, those people are going to tell you. But you know what? For seditions, black is white and white is black. That's it. But all we want to tell you tonight, remember, Professor John DuPont said, the breed that can disgrace the chicken can come from the back. It'll be back to you.
You know, for this does not look strange to me. For that does not look strange to me at all. For the moment I saw Josh Weah going to where Doe came from, and the people of that his country, they said that our son here, he will be replacing Samido. Then I said to my audience on the platform that you watch out for Josh Weah. That you watch out. So far, the people, the crown people, has said that as our own. He will replace him. He will replace our son that they killed. Then I knew that Liberia is heading for serious catastrophe. Then I knew that Liberia is heading for a danger zone. Let us look at Doe. Doe was against the people that were involved in nepotistic behavior. People that were involved in massive corruption. When Doe came to power, he decided to put the people on firing squad. Today, Josh Weah is not putting the people on firing squad, but he is dividing them in darkness, killing them, killing the innocent bloods in darkness. Oh yeah. The nepotistic behavior. What George Weah was against for Madame Celine to implore her daughter, for her to be able to implore her son. That was what George Weah was against yesterday. Today, guess what? All the Weah are working to the Freeport. The Miguel sister is working as a deputy minister to finance.
Minister of Finance, yeah.
The Joa Howard Taylor, she having two of her sisters working in the government. One is to Minister of Health and Social Welfare, and one is to Minister of Gender. Then people are saying, no, the government good. People are saying, yes, the government is good. But like my friend and brother has said, the breeze that can disgrace the rooster can come from behind. The breeze. Tonight, this is just a caveat to George Weah because our people are suffering. Our people are suffering to the extent Nathaniel Fala Miguel budget is higher than the police.
Then the Minister of Agriculture.
Then the Minister of Agriculture. Nathaniel Fala Miguel budget is huge to the extent that a fire disaster happened there yesterday night. That they called the people, fire service, they called them. Nobody could pick up the phone. They called them, nobody could pick up the phone. As soon as they pick up the phone, and then they said they were coming, they never came. That fire disaster had another child left into that fire. That's the government that people are classifying that the government is developing. When George Weah came to power, this brother was brought to the extent that he had to use Eddie Melvin Snow car to drive around. He had to use Eddie Melvin Snow car for him to be able to drive around until the Senate were able to give him money for him to be able to buy a car for himself. That is the man that you people are classifying that he is good. But you know, the military yesterday, the Liberian military yesterday, they were brave, they were better than the military today. Because the military people, they hate to see. You see, it happened to Mali. It happened to Burkina Faso. It happened to Guinea.
It happened to this country, Sudan.
But for us, you know, for me,
we can't underestimate it. It could be around the corner.
That's the reason why the man have intensified his security.
That can happen.
The man have paid all the AFL that were having mortgage. The man have paid all of the mortgage bill.
Oh man, I don't think Joshua can ever be the Samuel Kayando or maybe Charles Taylor. They're gone. So
But
let him try his luck.
You know, like for us, you know, as my co-host said, you know, Samido not get grave. Let it go ask. Let it go ask. The marginalizations that our brother from Lofa are passing through. What if George Weah is not careful? That the fly will carry the news. The fly will carry the news. If George Weah is not careful, that the fly will carry the news. Because enough is enough. Where in our country have you seen the president's wife is in our budget. That what George Weah was the first president that ever did that.
Mm-hmm.
When I asked ADD, ADD said they trashed that thing out.
But they passed the budget secretly. We don't even know what they passed. Send the pass it and not even come to the public yet. You see that?
You know, so friends.
Because this is February, that budget passed.
Friends, you know, for us tonight, we just decided to look back. Because it's like some of us having a monkey brain. It's like some of us having a monkey brain. The things that have happened to us, the things that have happened to us, the things that we have experienced in our country. Amen. Africa experienced that civil war. They said no more. Look at today. Look at Africa's today. Sierra Leone encountered a civil crisis. They said, look, we must bring everybody to justice. Today,
we are in charge now, no more justice. We're good. Because we depend on the people to give us votes. Pay for play. America talk about.
Keep your call coming on 215-824-8124, 267-938-2801. You know, for me, you know, when it comes to the George Weah business, I can just be laughing. Because everything that I ever said is happening. It's happening. And the Liberian people, the Liberian populations, they have regretted. They are regretting, and they will continue to regret until we can be able to move the gentleman we got into power. Liberians, if Liberians are not ready, let them tell us. Because the Constitution says we the one that having the power. We can elect you for 6 years. But the first year, if you are not doing good, or the second year, if you are not doing good, or the fourth year, if you are not doing good, the Constitution says we have the power to remove you. They not say we have to wait for elections. No. The Constitution says we have the power to remove you.
Article 1, all power is inherent in the people. Y'all want me to read it for you tonight again? Y'all let me know so I can do it. I got it right here. I'm not going to look for it. Me, a political man, political businessman.
It is good and it is better. The quicker we get rid of George Weah, the quicker. And that's the reason why I am continuing to say that the people from the Southeast, they should not see power just now. One of the longest serving presidents of our country, President Tuckman. Our people suffer. His vice president was from the Southeast. So, if George Weah is not careful, the flower will carry his news. If George Weah is not careful, flower will carry his news. Because the thing that we keep coming here to come, we are not coming here to come to satisfy one group of people. No. The talk show was established on the basis of saying the truth. That is the reason so many things that we can say here, no other talk show can be able to say because they are afraid.
They say they can't even read one chapter in the book. They can't read it on their talk show because that family talk show. Then you need to shut it down. I thought you came to advocate for the people, now you're advocating for George Weah. Shut it down. I say so.
You know, my friend, I brought it back to you because when I keep talking about the judgment and we are thing, you know, it will get me more like bonus. So what you talking and then we await our callers. You can better call on 215-266-6509 or you can better call on 267-938-2801 or 215-824-8124. The number is passing right up here. The number is passing right up here. Right here. So you guys that want to call, you can be able to call now. Yeah, my brother.
So
Let me play just a short clip of George
maybe before
Weah.
you play that short clip, let me just read Article 1 for them so they can get it. Liberian people don't read, so we'll read for them. No disrespect. That's a fact. 1986 Constitution, Article 1 under Chapter 1, Structures of the State. All power is inherent in the people. All free governments are instituted by their authority and for their benefit, and they have the right to alter. Yet I will alter. You're listening to Alexander Kumi altering the Constitution, right? We can alter the change of government. We can amend the government if you want me to use it that way. Okay? They have the right, we the people, to alter and reform the scene when their safety and happiness so require. You're listening. In order to ensure democratic government which responds to the wishes of the governed, we the people shall have the right at such period and in such manner as provided for under this Constitution to cause their public servants, all right, to leave office and to fill vacancies by regular elections and appointments. Okay? That is civilized side there. We the govern, we are the people. But guess what? The people we elected to power, those elected officials appointed their own people, like the president, for example, and the Supreme Court justice or chief justice. They are not seven, and we are the seven because we draft them, we pay them the car that we draft for them. They sit in there, we draft them, and we pay the code. We appoint the ambassador, they come to UN, they bring their wife, they put them on our payroll. We appoint the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they get their wife, they take them to Foreign Affairs, they get their girlfriend, they send them to foreign mission. That's what's going on right now. So we get the Minister of State, they take their brother who in Finney High School, they made them city mayor in Bapolu. The same thing going on. So that nepotism that we talk about 1980, this social, political, economic corruption. What change have we made after killing 250,000 people? What is the change? What have we learned from doing that wrong stuff? You won't hear it, right? But you will hear it.
Okay.
What have we learned from that? The Constitution says we can force our government to respond to the wishes of us, the people. How you think we're going to change? For us to sit down and bury it in our stomach? No, we need to talk. And this talking going to make some changes. It is a hard truth. I wish majority of us, especially those of us that are not in Liberia, using social media technology could just be a little bit truthful. You all know how we work here. The money we send to Liberia through Western Union, Money Grant, RRA, and you name it, is more than government of Liberia budget. If we stop sending money tomorrow morning, the next 72 hours, you know how many people will die in that country? Those who are sick at the hospital?
We have a call on the line.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
you'll get better.
Okoro, go ahead.
This is Rufus. I'm calling from Nigeria.
Rufus, go ahead.
Thank you guys for the topic on the conference. I just really like how Francis is supposed to, you know, one thing I like about this show, your show, is you guys talk the truth. You are not express. You know, when it's talk about people that Francis them, they are real for the people. Because those are people, they are great. Looking at you, they say the truth. Keep the truth to power. Because it's you know, people say, oh, they are attacking war to come to Liberia. Nobody is attacking war to come to Liberia. It is the government, the real government. They are forgetting so soon. They came to power. They said they are Congress for democratic change. And it went on to become coalition for democratic change. And today, if they took over Liberia, the country has become so disastrous. Tons of death. They're using human beings as a sacrifice to kill them because they are all incompetent. They don't even know what government is. Killing human beings. The same Liberian that voted for them, the same Liberian that held Weah like they are God. The same Liberian that showing that love for football peace. When Weah.
Samuel, coming to you. Hold on.
You see behind him, the main president. And Liberia still went ahead and make Weah president. See how you people Liberia today. Killing our sisters. God. I don't know. I don't know whether you guys really take it into notice. The majority of the killing that going in Liberia, I was young girls. I was young sisters. They killing, taking their parts. I can know two girls that survived from this that recently killed in Monrovia. One of them said because she was Mexican at the time. I think two girls came up with that testimony. It's so sad. For Weah to know that what is going to different kind of people, yeah, they will pay for it.
Thank you. Samuel, go ahead. Samuel?
Yeah, Eddie.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Yeah, doing good.
Francis, good morning, my brother.
Number.
You know,
Sango, the parable man.
You're talking about the Ivorian. You know, the Ivorian president did something smart. I just wanted to tell you about it. You remember when the Mali coup happened and it did not take too long, the Guinea coup took place?
Yes.
The president was smart. He made peace with the opposition, especially the former president that came back from the Hague.
Mm-hmm.
He called for a dialogue. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah, he called for a dialogue with, I think, Hufu Baye or something, the head of peace talk, and he gave the man all of his immunity as former president and gave the man the equal right and freedom that he deserved in the country.
Laurent Gbagbo, the man did that too.
Yes. That's what you call learning from past experience, because that man knew at the time Mali coup took place, Guinea coup took place, that whole region was pregnant. What the man did was, he did not go around bribing people. He went around and made peace with the people and stopped infringing on other people's rights. In as much as I'm not happy with the territory that he went for, but he did these things peacefully. And he did it with good intent, and he kept his word. Now, Prince Johnson sat in the House of Senate. I mean, he sat in the Senate, not the House, in the Senate, okay? And he's one of those up to today. When you talk about war crime code, the first thing that will come out of his mouth, my people were marginalized. My people were being killed. I came to the defense of my people. And at the same Prince Johnson sitting there today, the people of Lofa are being marginalized. You can't say anything. Maybe Liberian people, we are just wicked set of people. You know what I can tell people? The people that killed Jesus, my brother, Judah Ascara, we came from that generation. Maybe. When you look at it carefully, and when you look at the people, God, you know when the Tower of Babel that were being built, that God gave people different languages and they went their way. When you read the story in the Bible, I think the people that were at the front of that land are Liberian people. because the number one cancer we got in our country is coming together for one good purpose. Honor money, they greed, they hate for little things. So the thing you guys talking about, President, we are army. My brother, at the moment, we don't have army. We got boss cars. That army we got in that country. For me, I'm not even talking about overthrowing President. We are here. But there are so many insecurity issues happening in that country. There's so many things happening in that country that the army could have stepped in to save lives. How many people have to die? How much more armed robbery need to go on? They're waiting for the president to call them to get out of the barrack, which is not a bad thing. But have they proposed? Have they done something about it? No, they're saying that people dying. People are being raped. Does it bother them? No. But this is a lesson learned. This is a lesson learned, my brother. There's too much power in the executive, and we need to reduce some of those powers. Because if God forbid the next generation elect another leader like President Weah again, my brother, it could be worse. It could be worse than this. So the people need to understand the problem is already there. For me, most often I don't think about the problem, I think about the solution.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to remove this guy come 2023? You know, I was listening to Seku's show today. The EFF, Gongwe, I think Gongwe or something was on the show. I listened to him. And he was expressing his frustration, how the CPP did not hold together, how the Liberian people are frustrated, blah, 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 this, that, and he went on a meeting. And I listened to the former Maryland senator. They are all bashing JMB for putting out. When the issue was out there, they couldn't speak out. You know, Ebi, there's a saying that when the children go in the bush, and one person seen a brother, they find how to bring that child in the town to the other people. And they say, oh, seen a brother child, the child pass out, they put that child down. If you sit down in that time and that child die in your head, you shouldn't blame the children, you blame the people that were sitting there that they brought the children to. When their case came forward, why all these people, they're only in the Senate there, why me, from Sano or something? Where were they? When the people got to doing the investigation, where were they? When that issue came from the lawyer, and then they called a caucus to discuss that thing with Cummings, Waka, Ure, Yombly, where were they? Why didn't they intervene? Why are they coming up now? But you see, this is the hypocrisy in we, the Liberian people. Liberians are the best hypocrites. This is the hypocrisy we talk about. The greed. These were the people that were already being paid. Listen to Mr. Kumi yesterday. The man can lie. Even my 6-year-old son can lie like that. The man said no document ever existed. Then which are the document you admitted? Which are the document you sent to the lawyer to edit? That there was no document before then. Which document you talked to the lawyers to change things in? Which document? He said there was nothing existed. But I want another story for another day. But the only thing we're telling the Liberian people, the solution here, come 2023, is to remove Weah. You guys should not be deterred for the current circumstances in the CPP. Life has to go on, my brother.
Thank you.
Not because you go to sleep and you drink bad drink, you not go back to sleep. You need to sleep. Life has to go on. And one advice I want to give to the people, Abi, after listening to a few talk shows, Abi, the Liberian people need to stop giving President Weah unnecessary attention, unnecessary support. It will come back to bite them in the ass. CDC plans to rig elections. That's one of the things they are arguing on. And that was one of the things they used this 2017 election. CDC had a number. When CDC come out, people see the number. So it was easy for Mount Ellen to tamper with our election. The Liberian people are making the same mistake. When President Weah called them, they gave them $5, $10. They jump in the street. They show CDC support. Tomorrow, the part of these guys plan to rig that election, this will be one of their excuses. The people got the number. This is the reason why whenever they call, there's a program, They want people to wear red beret because they want people to see that they have the support of the people. The Liberian people need to be smart and start giving President Weah that support. It will come back to bite them in the ass if this guy choose to cheat during the 2023 election. If they call them out, let them stop showing him the support so the world can see and know that he does not have the support. They shouldn't go there and then go back and start grumbling in their corner. Tomorrow they will go and vote. This guy will rig the election and it will be against them. The Liberian people need to be smart and they need to stop doing that. In as much as they hunger, they will not die. They will not die for that one day they will refuse that $10 or $15. The same thing the day after the June 7th protest for President Weah called them and there was no one on that stadium. They need to do the same thing. This is one of CDC plans. I'm telling you, AB. This is one of their plans. They will keep calling people out. You see how the stadium was packed. They will call for rally and all these things. Once the people keep showing up, this will be one of their strategies or one of their key points they will use to break election in that country. The Liberian people need to be smart. When you feed the animal with meat, they know meat around and coming for your flesh. Liberian people, you already made mistake 2023. Do not go there to repeat it. Mr. 2017, do not repeat it 2023 again. Thanks for the time, Eddie.
Thank you. You know, my good friend, you know, the CDC business here. Let me take another caller. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling from?
Sunshine calling from Alaska.
Sunshine.
Yes. But
How is the
you know,
weather
you got a
over there,
good
my friend?
co-host right now. So I was always wondering, you need to stop sending money to support those Liberian people. That's why everybody is so relaxed. Stop sending money. They need to get out there and protest. Protest 1 week, 2 weeks, we will be out of there. So you keep supporting them with money. Everybody is so comfortable. Stop sending money. That's all I have to tell you. Stop. American government, nobody will listen. They're not going to come in until y'all make the move. It's been almost 3 years. Nothing have changed. It's up to the people. Stop sending money to people in Liberia and get their ass out in the streets and protest for their rights. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
That's a very salient point right there.
You know, she make a very excellent point. I mean,
But we don't have leadership anymore. When Eula was Eula, they did it. We strangulate that government 72 hours. People go to Cali, they ain't got money, they die at the door. They go to JFK, they send they ain't got food to eat. Joe, we will know what's up. But we keep sending money because Liberian people will say, oh, my mom there, oh, my nephew, my days, oh, no school fee. We send it Don Bosco. Now you buy uniform from them. You can't buy it from anywhere else. You got to buy it from them. We stop sending money. Now, just 72 hours, AB. 72 hours, the government will not function again. The money we're sending up to today, they're taking 25% out of that money with their own rate. You send old car, they punish you. You send new car, they punish you. They say we must send newer car, but we send newer car, then they punish you again. They say like luxury car. Then you pay the luxury separate, then before they apply the duty. You see that? But let me come back with my other points, right?
Yeah.
The situation we witnessed 1989 coming to 1990, that one group of people were already set because of marginalization and open execution of their brothers and sisters and other citizens of that group of people. The difference between that open execution and today, government auditors that did their job and they needed to publish the report, the government did not want them to do so. So the government of George will use their own behind the same people and got them executed, and we found their bodies at different times, different spots. That investigation today is inconclusive. 3 boys got missing. Investigation inconclusive. Why people die on all vessels that government say go, and the vessel went. They got them dumped in the water, followed by ritualistic killing. Executive protected service personnel go with president on a country tour. They're shouting. Whatever reason they're shouting for, they can't tell us. They can't even allow his wife to get a death certificate to establish the cause of death. As ordinary as that paper is, they can't even give it to the woman, and the government cannot tell her anything. So you say Joey had a good man. He was good man already, and he good man. We hire him, we employ him, and we pay him. And we pay the rest of the people that he appointed. Instead of them working for us, being our servant, we are their servants now because we drive them all over the place. When you start putting some of those cars into an accident, then they will counter us a little bit. Because almost every single government official in Liberia, they get driver, they get cook. How can you have a residential allowance in your home country? I don't know whether U.S. Congress doing it yet though. That they pay you and they pay you extra money for housing. How can you have housing allowance in your own country? And not part of your pay. So the thing baffled my thinking, how many payrolls government of Liberia got? How can you be representative, you senator, some of those director general, all they getting housing allowance? Then what do you do with your pay? When are we going to develop our country? You think America is going to come to your rescue? You saw what they did to Samuel Doe, right? You saw what they did to Charles Taylor. As ugly as Charles Taylor government was, American ambassador was still going to that executive mansion, go and see Charles Taylor whenever he needed to go there. So if you see Ambassador McCarthy with you, Kevin McCarthy, whether Kevin McCarthy, but I know that's in the McCarthy, going from place to place, chief of mission, whatever you call it, you think life is good, right? You can say whatever you want to say on the show. The fact that you're listening to me, I know that you're getting the information. And the information we're giving you is authentic. Just what that lady said, we Liberians outside of Liberia, here in America, Europe, Great Britain, or any part of the world, we need to sanction the government before America coming to sanction the government. We need to stop sending our cracking money to them. We need to stop sending our cracking money to them. When the government cannot get a U.S. dollar to operate, and the people that's supposed to be praise singing, then putting them on the yellow buses, carrying the ATS or carrying the SKD to go and do so-called bus tunnel, you saw the people. Hungry people. Those artists carry their product, they couldn't even buy it. Who will buy when you don't got money to eat? You're going to buy jewelry? You're going to buy those article products when you don't got money and everything US dollar? We spot the people on camera, we saw them even talking inside the space getting dry. Look at the situation we got in the country. You know how many Zogos we got in Morovia alone? If one fire open in our place, God forbid, if something happened in Morovia today, you only look for nobody to cause it. Because people are so disappointed in Weah, especially in young people. People are so disappointed in Weah. Everything they're doing it with political manipulation. Chaos inducement to certain people to go to their program. If anything happen in that city, America will not save you, Joey. America will not save you. You need to learn. If you learn now, we're giving you all the necessary information to take a cue. Move from behind our people. Stop using our resources and chaos violence to induce people to divide our people. You're not doing open shooting. But what he's doing is even more dangerous than what Samuel Kanyando did. Because he own was open in the day on camera. Your own, you're doing it behind the scene. But that's the same thing you are doing. Division is not good. Like Brian puts a time trap. It's not for rat alone or cat alone. It could catch cat, it could catch rat, it could catch dog, it could catch even human being. Because it's time trap. Everybody, every creature in the town, that trap could catch them. It happened yesterday, it can happen today. You also what happened in Ghana. Jerusalem took over, I think, 2-3 times before he decided to stay on. Y'all go read the history. Colonel Gaddafi, the late Gaddafi, overthrew his own uncle, though. The Guinea boy there, he overthrew his own nephew. I mean, uncle, excuse me. All geared towards making those countries better place, a better country. We can't keep doing the same thing, according to Alexander Cummings. Getting ugly result, but we keep doing the same thing, though. Even though it's a borrower, but let me borrow it too. We're having a fragile situation in Liberia. And I have no regret to say what I'm saying. Liberian people, we don't have no problem. We are easy to be carried away. But our governments, past and present, has always been problematic. They don't want to govern right. They don't want to take cue from our past. And that's why we have to talk. We will talk. We don't care how you feel about us. You need to advise Judge Weah to take cue from our past. Because we don't want to go back to where we came from, and we're not far from that. The number of angry people you find in Liberia right now, especially urban area headed by Morovia, the number of angry people you find, majority young people, youthful country, according to our State House, about 60 to 65% of our population consider youth. That number you play with, Joia, you play with that number, you're on your own. Nobody will rescue you. Even the people that tell you, say, Papa, you go. They're calling you Paku when you messed up. You go to Congress, you carry your cherry squad.
The man already messing up.
Oh, no. He can say make a U-turn. If he think because opposition is going the way they're going, portion of the opposition community join you to prosecute their own, you are succeeding with your political Machiavelli theory. I don't know how long Samuel Kanyando went. I think 9 years. It got caught up with him. Chancellor went 6-7 years. It got caught up with him too. Okay? Those are the two people we can name so far. I don't care how long it takes. The song singer said you can fool some people sometime, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. There will come a time where your psychology, your strategies, your political maneuvering, your Sunday division or the praise and worship, your DJ, Mr. Liar Man, your dancing, your taekwondo, all will fail. And that moment will be so bad. It will be so bad. When Samuel Kanyando was chasing Imbalians and threatening them and sending his crown soldiers to go and kill the people, he thought that was all to it. When he found himself sitting down under one guild man, and the guild man, God voice, was about to make decision for his part of life, it was sad. But you know what? Samuel Kanyando killed himself. Those of you that don't want to hear that, I'm sorry for you. Don't hold me responsible. Hold his behavior responsible. And we continue to see Chancellor did the same thing. Joshua is doing the same thing. When you become president, we don't elect you for one group of people. Even those people that did not elect you, you are still president for them. You are president for all of us, whether we like it or not. So you cannot do selective justice with us. You cannot do selective governance with us. You cannot do selective budgetary allotment with us just because we did not vote for you. It is shameful for our country. It is shameful for America to outline their contribution, their suggestions, their recommendation to our country for over 100 years. After 200 years, America is still doing the same thing. They still admonishing our government to do better, to double up. It means doing shit better in terms of governance. That is shameful for all of us. It is shameful, and you need to change. If you ain't change, let me borrow it from Dr. Michael Dan. When change comes, change will change you. It'll be back to you.
All right. Comrades, we have said enough. And actually, we can remain here for the next 2 to 3 hours. We will still be saying things that are very, very important to our society. But what must we do? I just want to turn the pendulum to my good friend for him to be able to get his closing statement. Back to you.
All right, folks. The commitment continue. KMC for short. If you have any immigration issue besides deportation and court actions, those are the two we can't go for that. If you want file for your people, you want to do fiancé visa for your girlfriend to come or for your boyfriend to come to America, or anybody to come to visit you, call on us. If you want to file for your wife or your husband, if you're married, your children, you get birth certificate for them and passport, call on us. If you came to America, husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever that is, and not working out, and you people mutually agree to go your separate way, call on us. We help you with no contested divorce. Any state you're in, we get it out. If you want life insurance because tomorrow is not guaranteed or it's not promised, we are also licensed to do life insurance and do auto insurance referral. Our numbers are 267-648-8012, 701-620-7009. That's short commercial for Kangomas Multi-Services Consulting LLC. Owned and operated by immigrants like you. So call on us so we can make our community a better place, okay? Right here in America. Our own country, they already rejected us. They call us Americans. Americans here too call
African
immigrants. Not even African. African is better because they got African American here. They call immigrant. And the funny thing about it, my people, for the records, I'm not ashamed of this. It is unfortunate, but that is what it is. I don't care how you get citizenship in America, you still get alien registration number. That's the funny thing about it. They say assign number to you just to tell you the country for you. Everything you got are just paper. So some of you that are sitting under our life, you telling us, say, we finish our cheeseburger, making big mouth. We're not making big mouth. People that make big mouth are people who don't know what to discuss. But we know what we're discussing here. And we don't get embarrassed by saying what we say. There are other talk shows around here that call themselves the big talk show or the big platform. They can't even read chapter 13 in Dr. Clark and Ava book. They can't read it. It's too ugly for them. But they are doing advocacies behind the scene. They're doing something different. They're supporting the government of today. But they sit down, quote unquote, platform and lecture you, the Liberian people. We're not lecturing you. We're giving you factual, fascinating, authentic, historical perspectives of our country. And we are saying all of these things because we too, we matters. And we want Liberia to be counted again among many civilized nations. That's what we want. We want our country to be better so we can get out of the alien registration number here. How can you live in a country where headache can kill you? You can't even get paracetamol. If you got paracetamol, that Indian dust. How can you live in the city that is the seat of the government since 2003 to today? The #1 city in Liberia, the capital city, named after the 5th president of the United States, James Monroe. No light. I don't call it electricity. What kind of good security system you will have when you don't have electricity in the #1 city of the country? Then you'll say everything is okay. My people, look at our America built it for us. You know it. Our current election commission, America built it for us. The executive mansion, Great Britain and United States built it for us. The tallest building in Liberia, Libya built it for us. Where our money going then? Where our money going from 1822 to today? Somebody say, oh, they're not Weah do all that one. That's true. They're not Weah do all that one. I agree with you. But it is just Weah time. What is he doing? What is Joshua doing to change your story? That's the question. That's a $1 billion question you can't answer. Joshua was not there yesterday, but this is George Weah and his CDC that protested, that demonstrated almost every single day. You ain't 1 year, I will put it on you. They put Red Kuwe in her honor clothes. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf living as a mother. Forget about her presidency. They put Kuwe water on it. They put it in the air. They said that was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf painting. I'm not saying they wishing. That's what Joshua CDC people did. The woman living, they prepare her casket in the name of war crime code. Today, they do not want war crime code anymore. Why? Pay for play. That depends on on Prince Johnson in Nimba County, considering our electoral system. It will be extremely difficult for any single presidential candidate or political party to win election first round, considering the constitutional requirements which call for 50 plus 1 vote. 50% of the total vote cast plus 1 vote. It is difficult for any presidential candidate to win election as of today. And when we're talking about war crime and economic crime code in Liberia, you know who we come for, right? Prince Johnson will be the first person. If Prince Johnson go to court, the second trial is not for them. Because we go to run now, Prince Johnson will not support him because he will be Baba. That is the fundamental political reasons why George Weah does not have the moral high ground and the political will for his government to establish the war and economic crime court in Liberia. Even though United Nations and United States has already offered us security, they have offered us money, they're waiting to offer us. Let me not say they have offered us. They are waiting to offer us, but we, the people, the government, must commit themselves to that. I challenge them. If they say what I'm saying on this Facebook platform or talk show, it's not real, I challenge them to get the ball rolling tonight or tomorrow morning. Let's see whether America will not come in to support us. Let's see whether United Nations will not come in to support us. Let's see whether Great Britain will not come in. In fact, EC will not come in to support us. But the new Mayor Jefferson Koji is telling us and the EC that they don't have enough money That's why the city is not clean. So what is our meager budget? What is the city corporation collecting? What are the strategies to make the city clean? So we always depend on foreign donors, friendly governments, and other friendly organizations. What we are doing, when somebody washing your bag, according to philosophers, you should be able to wash your belly because it is hanging before you. My people, we are doing this because we too matter and we love our country. And we want our country to be a better place so that we can stop seeing these alien registration number, USCIS number, and you see citizen in America, paper citizenship, under Article 27 and 28 Liberian Constitution 1986, once a citizen of Liberia, we all will remain citizen. Weah didn't try to play politics with that too, with the kangaroo proposition, dual citizenship. Thank God his court, before he came to power, already framed that and they were hiding it too. Minister of Justice were hiding it. But we book it up. So my people, you join us. Let us join forces to compare the leadership of our current government. That leadership, we need to compare them, mandate them, force them to do better for our people. So these little boys from European countries and the West can stop telling us how we need to live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, living your business schedule. It'll be back to you.
All right. Friends and comrades and compeers, you know, it has been a good time that we have spent here. Tonight, it was a good night, a good talk show, a good talking point. But trust us, we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same stations, but different topic. What much we do. Bye-bye for now.
It trains on the
It's your